Søren, thanks for sitting down with me today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Søren, DLF has recently undergone a bit of a rebranding,
Yes.
moving Trifolium from the name. Can you tell us a little bit about that process and what was the thinking behind it?
Yeah, basically DLF was DLF Trifolium, as we know it, was created back in 1988 with a merger of a couple of companies. And over the years we've been growing organically, but also by mergers and acquisitions. And what happens naturally is that you get different names in a big family.
Yep.
And we thought it was about time now that we created one strong, united name, get the whole family together,
Right.
and made it more clear to the market. So we ended up with the DLF.
Excellent. And so that launch around the globe is no small task. There's a lot of moving pieces.
Absolutely, it has been a big task. We started out actually with a customer survey where we investigated what were the perception of DLF, how do the customers perceive us, our employees, our owners. So it has been a pretty big process. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, and a successful launch, because I think when I can come to an event like this and it actually be talked about, that's a good sign.
Exactly.
Good sign.
Yeah, but I actually think a lot of people notice it. We have first, of course, we did it internally, a big event all over the world. All the departments were given T-shirts and cakes and all these kind of things. So we got everyone inspired, and now all our employees are talking about it, obviously. And then we launched towards the customers, letters and websites and so on. So it's been pretty good.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on a successful
Thank
launch.
you.
It's a good thing. In a seed company, it's always crucial to have an extensive pipeline. New varieties coming down. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the improvements in ryegrass?
Yeah, every year we launch between 20 and 30 new varieties. So obviously we have a big pipeline, and ryegrass, perennial ryegrass, is one of the biggest one we have. Lately we've been focusing on a new concept called tetraploid, turf tetraploids, where it has gone into our top events. It's improved ryegrasses that are more wear resistant, more drought tolerant because of the rooting, and also more disease resistant. So it's a whole new improved product concept that we've launched to the market. That's one of the reasons why we've been selected as the supplier to the big top events, because it's improved ryegrass. So that's more in the turf industry. In the forage market, we've been looking at the quality for forages, and especially cell wall digestibility is one of the big topics right now, also called DNDF. So the better cell wall digestibility, the more milk the cows will produce. So obviously that's one of the areas that we're looking into, and we have launched a number of varieties with these unique features with improved cell wall digestibility.
There's always lots of moving pieces, and especially when you've got a diverse portfolio like DLF has. Can you talk a little bit about biotech? Big deal in just about every component of the seed industry right across the globe. Can you talk to us a little bit about how's that impacting the forage and turf sector, and then perhaps how is DLF tackling this animal, so to speak?
It's nice wording, animal.
Right.
Well, a couple of years ago, we were actually looking very much into this area in DLF in Europe. But eventually, we took the decision to put it on the shelf again due to the political situation in Europe. We thought it would take a very long time before the European politicians would open up for this area. So we decided not to go further into GM, using GM as part of our grass breeding. However, we do use something called genome-wide selection, where we do look at the genome in the plant. Genome-wide selection is known from animal breeding and other plant breeding areas, and we are the only one doing it, as far as I know, in the grass breeding, where we can go in and look at the traits and making sure that we can develop more traits at the same time. And reducing the time of getting products into the market with up to 4 to 5 years. So that would be a fantastic change in the way we bring products into the market. I think in the longer run, some of the politicians needs to wake up and maybe have a different view on the use of GM. We do also know there's someone is starting in US now to look much more into this, and I guess eventually the politician needs to come around again and open more up because it's needed.
Right. So R&D is obviously a big part of the work that you folks are doing. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's structured globally? How is the R&D set up for DLF?
Yes. As I started out mentioning, we have acquired a lot of different companies with a lot of different breeding programs, and obviously we have a structure all over the world now. With the center of our R&D is still in Denmark, but then we have center of excellence spread all over the world. So we have breeding facilities, and at the same time we have trial sites spread all over the world. And by having these trial sites, that's also enabling us to test for local conditions, so to speak. And then we have a focus in perennial ryegrass or red fescue or bent grasses or poor pretenses or whatever in different areas of the world.
Your products have been selected for some of the top events in the world, right? I've got a list here. It's an extensive one. The 2014 World Cup in Brazil, Euro 2012 in Poland, the London Olympics. I mean, you're the top choice.
Yes.
So at risk of pandering to my interviewee here, why? Why is DLF chosen time and time again as the provider?
Back in 2010, when the World Cup was going on in South Africa, 2 years prior to that, we actually entered into a sort of a competition of being selected being the supplier of the World Cup at that time. And that was the first time where we really hit it. And since then we have learned how to maneuver around in this world. It's a little bit different. A lot of trialing, a lot of contacts locally. We know where the next World Cup will take place in Russia, for instance. We know about the UEFA 2016. So we are preparing for this, obviously. Trialing our varieties, being very close to the local organizing committee. And I guess also now the references from what we have done before gives us sort of an image that we can accomplish these kind of things. Going both from South America to Russia to Poland, Ukraine, wherever it is, we do have the varieties suited for that particular. And then adding on our new concept, the 4-turf concept, that brings unique features. And I guess they realize that, the different groundkeepers, and trust our concepts.
What can you talk a little bit about those features? What actually makes the difference?
The difference is wear resistance, tolerance to diseases, and so on and so forth. So it's very much linked to the actual stadiums and the way they use the grasses and how they cut it, and all down to the small features around the local differences, I would say.
So the turf gets treated like the athletes do. You need the right application in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and the right temperature, and the right soil, and the right... Yes.
Lots of moving pieces.
Yes,
lots of moving
absolutely.
Pieces. The forage and turf sector, like every other sector in seed, has some challenges. What would you say are some of the top challenges, and maybe how's DLF tackling some of that?
Currently, I would say that within forage, the milk prices and the whole milk industry is challenged hugely by the macroeconomic situation, Russia, China, and so on. And what we have seen is that the milk prices have been dropping tremendously to a very low level, making it very difficult to be a dairy farmer today. And that is having a big impact on the forage industry in general, even though that the prices have increased a little bit the last couple of weeks, which is nothing compared to where it should be. So we do know a lot of dairy farmers are losing money these days, and that's one of the biggest challenges that we see right now in the forest industry, if you ask me. I do think, though, that this is a short-term issue. It should be that the supply and demand will get back into the normal levels, and hopefully during 2016 we'll see a normal level. So that's one of the biggest ones we see right now. In turf, professional turf or consumer, I don't think that we have big issues as such. Actually, the consumer market is normally quite okay, I would say. Yeah. Professional turf, especially in Europe, have turned around after 2008-9 crisis. Now it's getting back into the normal level in some countries, also because the governments are investing heavily in bigger projects like highways and so on and so forth. So that's a little bit more positive, I would say, in the turf market. Then obviously, I think when the Americans will look into this, they will say, well, now we have a currency between the US dollar and the euro and so on. So I think maybe some of the balances are shifting around these years. Maybe the European producer are selling more seats into China and to US. And you know, that's how it is right now.
Absolutely. Right. That's excellent. You know what? I congratulate you on how well things are going for DLF. Look forward to chatting with you again very soon, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.